a big welcome back to all our subscribers. So today we're going to be making a Halloween brownie, but you could also make it as a cake, and we're making a bit of a cemetery graveyard one, so something a little bit spooky and ghosts and so forth, ready for Halloween. So basically what we're going to do is make a brownie. We're then going to cut it into small rectangles and make each one into an individual grave site and decorate it a little bit fun. So if you didn't want to do that, you could easily make a cake and just decorate the whole cake with different tombstones and headstones and sort of ghosts and goulashes. But today we're going to stick with a brownie. So I'm actually making a really easy brownie recipe that's part of one of Jamie Oliver's 30-minute meals. So it's going to be very quick. So what we need is, and I'll just double check the recipe as I go, we need 250 grams of unsalted butter, and I've chopped that up and we've got that at room temperature. We have 200 grams of caster sugar. In here I have 4 heaped teaspoons of self-raising flour and 6 level teaspoons of cocoa powder. I have 4 eggs. I have some crystallised ginger, I have some sour cherries, and I have 200 grams of chocolate. And what I'm going to do is just smash the chocolate. It's easy, I can do this in the packet with just a rolling pin, so that we break it down, smash it into small pieces. I'm then going to put into my blender the sugar. Actually, I better check before I tell you any more. So yes, I'm going to put the sugar, the tea, the cocoa, the chocolate, the self-raising flour, pinch of salt, and slowly add the eggs and blend that all up. So as you can see, it's a really easy recipe. Once I've done that, I'll be back to show you the next step as I get the hair out of my face. So I'm going to continue doing this and start to put it all together. So we've mixed all our ingredients together, and just recapping, we had 200 grams of dark chocolate, we had 250 grams, we'll just double check, of unsalted butter, which we had at room temperature and we'd chopped up. We had 200 grams of caster sugar, we had 6 level tablespoons, gosh, I'm terrible, I better read the recipe. Let's start from the start. 200 grams of dark chocolate, 200 grams of caster sugar. We had 6 level tablespoons of cocoa powder. We had 4 heaped tablespoons of self-raising flour. We had 4 eggs. We had a handful of crystallised ginger, and we've blended it up. It's a very easy recipe, but it can get a bit messy with the flour and the chocolate. But we've mixed it all up in our blender, so we've got a nice consistency like that. So we've got our oven has been warming up for 180 degree or 375 Fahrenheit. We're just lining our square tin here with baking paper, and we're just going to, see that, pour it all in. So once again, this is really easy. It's actually a dessert in one of Jamie Oliver's 30-minute meals. Now you can use this recipe, you can use if you've got your own favourite recipe, or you want to make a cake instead. The good thing with this haunted cemetery recipe is that you can use anything for the base, and then it's just decorating it with fun things. So we're just going to spread that out to the corners of our tin so we get a nice square. Now we've got some cherries here, some sour cherries, which we're just going to press into the top. Now I guess this might be a bit more of an adult brownie with the crystal and the cherries in, so you could add other things. You can also pop some pecans on the top if you want, so lots of things. So I'm just going to spread the cherries out. Once again, we don't need to be too precise because we're actually going to cover the top with some frosting. So we'll put all of that in there, and we're done. That's how easy it is. So I'm going to trim off some of the paper around the side so it doesn't burn in the oven. I'll wash my hands, and I'm going to put that in the oven for about, 12 to 14 minutes. Test it as you go with the skewer. See that it is a brownie, so we don't want it too dry, but we also don't want it too gooey because we want it to keep its shape when we cut it into the pieces. So for this recipe we probably want it a bit more firmer than not. So I'm going to get started on that, and then I'll come back when it's out of the oven. So our brownie's cooking away, and I've checked on it after 15 minutes and it's still quite liquidy, so I'm just going to put it back in for another 10 minutes, turn the tray around just so it gets an even coverage. While that's happening, I'm going to start mixing up our royal icing. And royal icing sets hard, so this is perfect for writing on our little tombstones and making fun decorations. So we need 1.5 cups of icing sugar, which we put in there. We need 1 egg white, which I've separated. I'm going to whisk that up. I'm going to get started on that. Put that in the fridge. The next thing we'll be doing is getting our brownie out, popping it on a baking tray to cool. Once it's cooled, we can start to cut it up and decorate it ready for our cemetery. I'm just about to bring it out of the oven. I'm going to let it cool for a little bit before I put it straight onto the tray. If I put it straight on now, it will start to collapse because it's quite a fragile dish. It's okay to keep cooking in the tray for a little bit. So I'll let that cool down, then I'll transfer it and let it completely cool on the baking tray. So in the meantime, I can get all my decorations ready to decorate our little graveyard. So I've got some chocolate frosting here. I won't lie, I've got it instant made because you don't always have time to make your own frosting. So I've got chocolate frosting, I've got marshmallows, and we can actually make little ghosts with our marshmallows by putting some chocolate buds in our marshmallows as eyes. So there's something fun we can put on our little graves. I've got Smarties, which we can decorate for our borders. I've got some licorice. And for our headstones, obviously you could make your own with biscuit, but biscuits like these, so these are just milk coffee. They've got a nice little edge around them. I'm going to write rest in peace or do little decorations on here. And when we cut our slice, we'll actually cut it to the width of the biscuit and pop that in like that with obviously the branding to the back, and there's our little ready-made tombstone. So while the brownie's cooled, I'm going to pop these out and start writing on them with our royal icing. When working with the royal icing, one thing to make sure, because we're going to be putting the biscuit in the brownie to steady it, make sure we write up quite high. And by doing this now, we can let it set, if I can get that, let it dry while the brownies are cooling. So there's our little rest in peace first one. If you find that your royal icing is too runny, just pop it in the fridge and it will firm up a bit, which will make it easier for you to use. So I'm going to do a mixture of just writing and doing little borders around our headstones. And let them set, let the icing harden, and then our brownie will be cool and we can start putting it all together. So our brownie is now resting on our tray. It's almost cool. I've got our frosting here, we've got our little tombstones, and our little icing sugar resting pieces have set. So now it's time to decorate. There's a couple of ways. You could make an actual whole cemetery cake where you just put the frosting over all of it and you stick the different tombstones in different areas throughout the cake. But we're actually going to slice it up and make individual graveyards. So what we need to do is get our biscuit. We're actually going to cut it and then frost it. If we frosted it all now, it would be really messy as we start to cut it. So work out the width of our biscuit. We probably want it about there. We'll cut the piece, frost it, pop our biscuit into the brownie so it does stick, and then we can start to decorate it. So as I said, we can put Smarties around it for sort of the border. We can put little sprinkles. If you've got green sprinkles, you can put them in for sort of grass. We can put our little ghosts in there, and you can just have as much fun with this as you want. So a really easy recipe and a really fun thing for Halloween, and something the kids can certainly get involved in. So we'll start putting that all together. There, we're going to keep working through and try and resist the temptation to eat some of the ingredients off my hand. Once again, really fun activity, something that the kids can do, if I can talk properly. It's something that the kids can help you with, and they look really effective and really fun for Halloween. If you want some other ideas for Halloween, don't forget to check out our other video with some ideas for Halloween food. We hope you have a wonderful Halloween holiday, you have lots of fun trick-or-treating, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and watch our other videos at the party hour. We'll see you next time.